Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Solutions Stage. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Elizabeth Faber. I'm Deloitte Global's Chief People and Purpose Officer, which means I oversee our talent, inclusion, and purpose strategies for Deloitte globally. A little bit about Deloitte. We are a professional services organization with 460,000 people operating across 150 countries worldwide. And our purpose is to make an impact that matters. And so we seek to deliver our purpose every day through the clients who we serve, the people we grow and develop, and the communities in which we live and work. And so today's topic around resilient infrastructure, smarter, safer, and stronger resilient infrastructure enabled by AI, is at the sweet spot of our purpose of making an impact that matters and the imperative around AI for good. So I'm very excited to share with you some thoughts around AI for resilient infrastructure in the context of a new report that just was released by Deloitte Global on AI for infrastructure resilience. And we'll unpack some of the results of that survey, as well as pick up on the annual Deloitte Gen Z and Millennials survey and hear from the next gen of leaders, of consumers and members of our community on their thoughts on the importance of resilient infrastructure, because of course these are long-term decisions that we need to make that will impact how they live and work. So, to start, let me share with you some takeaways that I hope that you have from today's conversation. And first is an understanding that resilient infrastructure is not just of economic importance, but also a human imperative, and really help to provide that little more context around that imperative. The second is to show how AI is transforming infrastructure and making it stronger, smarter, and safer. And then finally, to bring this to life with 3 real-world case studies of how AI is being applied. So I'm going to start, though, with a question. And this is like a little bit of a fear factor. So what part of today's infrastructure in your world would be very disruptive if it were to fail or to break down? Is it transportation, water, sanitation, healthcare systems? For me, coincidentally, I was preparing for this conversation on Sunday when my home state was being hit by the impact of Tropical Storm Chantal. And while I was, ironically, working on this presentation, there were flood warnings in my neighborhood and electricity outings, and I just thought, well, how ironic is this? And I'm going to ask you this question, and meanwhile, I'm dealing with flooding and power outages. So, can I hear some examples from each of you or some of you on parts of the infrastructure that are very important to you to be working on a daily basis? Yes, please. Electricity, yes, for air conditioning and Wi-Fi, right? Yes. Others? Waste management, water, transportation. I lived in Asia for 20 years, and for me then, the infrastructure that had to work was transportation, planes, trains, and buses. So infrastructure is essential for our daily living. And I would like to talk about how some of the results from our study now. So today, we face a world of compounding shocks. Extreme weather events and natural hazards are intensifying, and urban populations are growing. Economically, this is stark, as you can see on the slide here. The Deloitte Global Survey projects natural disasters alone could cause up to $460 billion in annual losses to infrastructure globally by 2050, more than double the average losses compared to the past 15 years. At the heart of every community is its infrastructure. delivering essential services underpinning economic resilience and human well-being. So when infrastructure fails, people feel the impact first in their homes, in their schools, in their healthcare systems, in their work. So resilient infrastructure is not just about financial prudence, but also about human imperatives in helping people protect lives and shape their safety. And the question these days is not if disruption will happen, but how prepared are we when it does? I talked about the Gen Zs and millennials. Over 70% of the Gen Zs and millennials we surveyed this past year have experienced extreme weather events recently, with many reporting anxiety about the environment. These concerns are shaping how people live and work and how they spend. So while AI has already demonstrated a number of use cases in areas such as optimizing operations, in advancing sustainability, and in empowering industrial systems, the use cases for infrastructure resilience are not as well known. But at a high level, the Deloitte Global Survey reveals that integrating AI solutions into hazard mitigation and into vulnerability reduction could alone save $70 billion annually in direct disaster costs by 2050. But this is equivalent to 15% of projected average losses. And with broader adoption of AI and continued AI improvements, these savings could exceed $110 billion annually, potentially preventing nearly 1/3 of disaster-related losses. And importantly, these are early findings. This is an early conservative step of the benefits of embedding AI in our infrastructure investments, with significant upside yet to be explored. So now that we have established the business case for resilient infrastructure and the economic impact of natural disasters, let's explore how AI is driving innovation in this space, and to think about it in a three-phased approach of infrastructure resilience: planning, response, and recovery. So first, in planning, AI can analyze hazard data and run simulations to design smarter, more resilient infrastructure. So think of examples like flood-resistant urban management and planning, or wildfire prevention due to vegetation management and asset inspection. Then, during the response phase, AI can power early warning systems and real-time monitoring. This means detecting threats faster and coordinating emergency responses more effectively. Think of examples like AI-enhanced flood and storm and even earthquake forecasting, or wildfire detection using drones and satellite imagery and IoT sensors. Finally, in recovery, AI can also help in the post-disaster recovery process, predicting the extent of damage, determining which repairs need to happen first, restoring services, and optimizing resource allocation. To bring this to life, I'm going to share 3 real-world case studies to demonstrate how exactly AI solutions are supporting infrastructure on the ground. First up, we're going to go to Florida. And let's look at how the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is in the Miami area, is addressing risks associated with changing sea levels and extreme weather events in a smarter way. So there are over 35 organizations in this area coordinating infrastructure investments, which is causing siloed information and data and limited analytics. And so they were facing some challenges with this. Our Deloitte consulting team, working together with Google Cloud Platform and Google Earth Engine and Vertex AI, designed a data visualization, analytics, simulation, and modeling tool that I'll show you in this video how it comes to life in the real world.
Smart Metro is an AI platform we're developing that can be used to take real-time data from multiple sources like Google to help planners like you be more efficient when it comes to planning. So Emma, let's start this up. So this is the Smart Metro platform, which incorporates different data, the land use, the transportation of workers, the public transportation, water supply, and so forth. This is the initial model. And as that model gets developed, you're going to start seeing all these other components rise into this. So you're proposing 300 units in this location?
Yes. For transit-oriented development, can we figure out how this would affect traffic circulation in the area?
First, we'll be able to show existing traffic conditions. So pulling all the data together from your traffic studies right now, the volume of traffic is okay. And then as we add the additional 300 units, you're going to be able to show what does that mean for traffic in real time. You're going to have additional public transportation, which is you're trying to do here in Miramar.
Access to transit, what will be the impact?
You can show what happens in Miramar in real time.
Honestly, I'm impressed with the level of detail Smart Metric can provide. It seems like a lot of information all in one place. That analysis a lot quicker to see what the effects of my decisions will be in real time, as opposed to waiting years for studies to be completed.
If this platform is successful here in Miramar, we can expand it out beyond the borders of Miramar, bring it into the 31 cities here in Broward County, because we're all very similar in dealing with the concerns that we have.
If Smart Metric works, this is going to be better for our residents and for us to make better decisions in making the city and the county more sustainable and resilient. It could change the lives of people living here in 20 years.
Pretty cool, right? Thank you. Okay. Next up, we're going to Eastern India, where Deloitte India helped a municipality completely rethink its waste management operations by creating a digital twin, a virtual replica of the city's waste operations. Using AI-powered optimization, we determined the waste collection requirements and optimized collection routes that were forecasted in real time. So as you can see on this slide here, this model predicts waste accumulation patterns, which helps anticipate surges in waste and adjust collection routes accordingly. So this helps to improve the speed and reliability of waste pickup, which is especially critical during disruptions, and helps prevent sanitation risks and health concerns. The results? Over 20% fuel cost reduction and 36 tons of CO2 emissions eliminated each year, just due to the optimization of the waste collection route. But importantly, there are also social benefits in terms of significant health improvements and reductions in diseases. Finally, let me share an example of how AI is speeding up in the recovery phase. So we talked about planning and responding, and now recovery, something that saves both money and lives. After natural disasters, of course, time is of the essence. And Deloitte Consulting has developed a tool called Opto-AI, an advanced solution that is helping to transform post-disaster inspection of damage. Opto-AI uses 2D to 3D photogrammetry to create digital twins of damaged areas and uses AI models that are trained on both real and synthetic data. The aerial image you see here shows roof damage on a building that was generated from a combination of Earth observation data and drone footage, and is fed centrally to update the digital twin that we've created. The interface, that is an interactive map-based interface, helps to pinpoint high priority zones that require immediate attention and enable faster and more effective deployment of resources. The result is roof repair time to close has changed from 7 days to 3 days, and material overages have been reduced between 15 to 30%. But also importantly, more lives have been able to be protected in communities during these moments that matter in severe events. So these three examples show that AI-enabled resilient infrastructure is not just a futuristic concept. It is practically helping communities today thrive. So in closing, let's talk about the full ecosystem and acknowledge that integrating AI into infrastructure resilience is not just an opportunity, but is a game changer. Harnessing AI can reduce the risk of disasters, can strengthen infrastructure against increasing hazards, and lower the economic and human costs of these major events across all three phases of disaster response. But this transformation does not happen in isolation. Collaborative effort across the entire ecosystem of infrastructure is essential. And there are some examples here of key stakeholders, but there are many others that our report outlines. But I'll just pick on these three. Technology leaders continue to invest in research, proving the economic and environmental benefits, and ensuring AI helps to align and advance our shared sustainability goals. Policymakers play a foundational role in enabling the environment for broader AI adoption through standard setting and collaborative incentives and modernizing legacy infrastructure. And finally, financial institutions are key in creating innovative financing tools that can help support long-term projects. Deloitte is proud to collaborate with these stakeholders across the entire infrastructure ecosystem, and together we have the power to create AI-enabled resilient infrastructure that stands stronger, smarter, and safer, not just for today, but for generations to come. With that, I invite you to have a closer look at our report for Resilient Infrastructure AI for Infrastructure Resilience. You can access it via the QR code. I'm around for a few minutes after this talk and very happy to engage with your questions and comments. Thank you very much for your attention today.